That's it. He's my favorite character now. What's up, guys? Doug Pencil here, and here we are to do a nice little breakdown / review and discussion and analysis of chapter 135 of Four Knights of the which is known as the Conversation. And yo, we gotta have a conversation about the conversation, because this conversation got me conversate. I know I just said the word conversation like 4 times in a row, but let's not waste any more time. We got so much to talk about. Editing me. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Go. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do happen to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, did you know that Pellegarde's the GOAT? Did you? Have you been introduced, enlightened, and welcomed by our Lord and Savior, Big Papa Pellegarde? Have you? And Pellegarde isn't, like, I'll say it now. We're going to get into it, because once again, like I said, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to get into it. But if Pellegarde isn't at least in your top 5 favorite characters that are specifically introduced in Four Knights, don't get me wrong. Even at this point, if I try hard enough, I can probably name 5 whole characters I like more than Pellegarde from the whole duology. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. You got Mael. You got Escanor. You got Meliodas. You got Zeldris. You got King. You got... This is in no particular order, by the way. But, like, you got... Maybe that's all you got. But still, there are definitely characters I can name and more. And don't get me wrong, I love Lance, I love Nonsense, I love Percy, I love Anne, I love Donners, I love the strongest character, transcending fiction itself, Sylvain. But this chapter, it's Nakaba deciding, you know what, I just didn't make him good enough a character, let me just hit y'all with it. And he hit us with it. But let's actually hop into chapter 135's cover page. Because as we can see here, once again, Gother's arm and leg, this is the arm, this is the leg, they are in Pellegarde's domain as well. I am genuinely hoping someone picks them up. Like, don't get me wrong, I am now fully confident. I am now a full Thetis hype beast. Like, now I guess she can kind of just do anything. I've been convinced. A lot of y'all brought up the fact that, well, just like Meliodas is actually really skilled at magic, but he prefers physical fighting, maybe it's the same case for Derriere. Maybe she was just like an extremely skilled mage. She just never had any reason to use it because she was extremely good at physical fighting. And that's what Combo Star essentially amounted to most of the time. Combo Star was very specifically a mink. So, like, she didn't necessarily need magical abilities and realize, at least I say realize, I realize that she's like, I think she's the first person to ever introduce the tap and go soul steal, at least from a pure demon. Like, I think maybe Hendrickson may have done it once or twice, but even then, I don't think so. I think she is the first demon to ever show that off. So she does have high-level magical abilities. Like, we never even see... I don't think we see Zell do it. I don't think we see Mel do it. Clearly not Mel. But, like, that is a relatively high-level ability, and it's very, very likely she was always just a very skilled mage. So her reincarnating into Thetis, getting proper royal mage training by who knows who, over what time period, and, you know, people can just be prodigies. I'm a full Thetis hype beast, but I think it would be easier for her if she had, like, the arm and leg at least. And notably, these aren't even just like the arm and leg. We've seen Gother get dismembered before or like knocked apart. Like, this is like a chunk of his torso. Like, it's not like he got cut cleanly here, like at the shoulder joint. No, like his whole thing popped off. Not even just his whole thing. Like this, like you can literally see part of his pectoral here. His pectoral going into his shoulder. Same thing with the leg. The leg isn't just, I'm not showing off my legs. They are a little bit too, I mean, I'm in jogging pants, but still, I can't display it well. But I think, like, literally he lost some of his hip. So instead of that is having to rebuild everything from scratch, I'm hoping the dogs, like, we get a quick shot. Because notably, they're mentioned here, and they seem to be in the vicinity of the arm and leg. And presumably, these things are still releasing magic power. So hopefully we cut in, like, 136 or 137, and we come back, and we see the dogs having brought back the leg and arm, considering they are in the territory. But of course, that is the least interesting part of this chapter. I ain't gonna lie to you. Let's actually hop into chapter 135. So we open up, and we are, in fact, at Pellegarde's castle. And I will admit, it does make me wonder about the genuine scale of these little individual realms. Because notably, in this image here, we don't see anybody or anything else. Nothing. Like, notably in other areas, specifically if you remember Guinevere's location, where she's currently being held. She's being held in a town. up in a tower, admittedly, but in a town. She actually has other people that she's living around, and we know that is a little separate Camelot pocket dimension. Where it is in the general, I don't want to call it like the Camelot multiverse, but in the overall dimension that is Camelot, in all the pocket spaces, we know Guinevere lives with other people, but Pellegarde seems very much isolated. Like, this is nothing but forest around him, which is very interesting. I wonder if he has providence and control over the whole realm, as in maybe if you go further out, there's like a city he oversees, or if it's legit just him. If it's legit, like, and essentially the reason I'm wondering that is because there is a statement by Nakaba in one of the early Q&A chapters that there are starry skies in Camelot. We have yet to see them. We've yet to be in Camelot at night. At night. But, like, there are starry skies in them. So if each one of these little pocket spaces has their own full starry sky, Arthur and the 7 deadly sins of Earth, ladies and gentlemen, on a rise. But, of course, that's the main detail. And also the detail that Pellegarde, despite seemingly having the whole realm under his jurisdiction, he's a nice, kind of humble little home. Like, I can't tell the full scale of it. It's clearly taller than the trees. So, like, it's not too humble. Especially considering how many people live here usually. But still, nice sizable little home. But not like, it's not like a full-scale castle. Like Arthur probably could have easily given Pellegarde. Showing that my goat is a humble man. Because he, he's just like that for real. And we see Anne naturally asks the immediate question, what could this even be for? And of course, we're wondering what she's looking at. The goat is like, I have no idea what he's doing. Like, he kind of just looks flat out zoned out. Like, this is, like, obviously T-posing is when, like, you just generic pose as a video game model. But, like, is Goathe just, like, blue screening right now? Like, is he seeing the horrors of the universe or something? There is nothing behind those eyes. Another really good character that gets her healed in this shot. But even the older brother, he's like, oh, whatever I'm looking at, it's smarking, bro. I may need to get a nibble of that. And the sister's all, oh wow, I am just 4 years old and have been for like the past decade, so Leslie, I have no context of what's going on here, and I'm going to infinitely be happy because it's the only way my brother remembers me for his sanity. And the Donners naturally ask the immediate question that would be lingering in my mind, right? Like, as much as I love the goat, as much as I shall forever respect the goat, as the goat is goated, your boy's paranoid. So Donnie asked the natural question that mine would immediately leap to, or at least my mind would. It's gotta be a trap, right? Asking you to have dinner with us? That's insane! And here's the thing. I don't blame Donnie, because once again, put it in their perspective. Despite the fact that Pellegarde has never, and maybe once again, I need to reread a lot of early Four Nights, or go watch the anime. I'm not watching the anime. Not even the fact that it looks bad, I just don't watch anime. I what's the last anime episode I watched in full? It's been years. I think if I cheat, I can count Grudge of Edinburgh Part 2. Shows how much I cared about that. I didn't even review it. Because nothing happened in that movie. Literally nothing happened in that movie. It was just foreshadowing for Four Nights when Four Nights had been under serialization for like 2 years. So like, it ain't matter. But with that being the case, I understand the Donners here. Because in their perspective, even with the fact that Pellegarde never, and I mean never, has attacked them. Not once. Like he has, well, no, he's attacked them very clearly. He's clearly attacked them. But he's never actually gone for the execution or any sort of lethal blow against them. He's very specifically always just wanting to train Percy or improve them. Like, remember, the most recent combat encounter that Big Papa Pell had with our crew was in Leonis. Literally crazy to think about, but 80 chapters ago. No, well, not 80. They got to Leonis about 80 chapters ago. But I think, like, maybe at the easiest or earliest 60 chapters ago was against Gawain, where he was training Gawain, getting her attitude under control and trying to teach her how to better fight or give her the principles of fighting. So, like, completely different. The man's never been truly, he's never had animosity towards them, like Beltripe, like Ironside, like the rest of Camelot. He just never has. It's just a verbatim fact. But with that being the case, dinner is like the easiest time to get someone got. As Anne points out, you think he'll try to poison us? Yeah. Like, I don't know. You can definitely chalk this up to me just consuming too much media, but like, and this is actually just like a part of how I was raised. I tend to not eat at other people's houses, like unless explicitly commanded to, or they're my biological family. If I'm going to someone else's house and they are not my like blood relative, I usually don't eat there. It's just how I was raised. I'm sorry, I don't know what how. I know some people empathize with me. Some people know. You go to other people's houses, they offer you food, you politely say, thank you, but no thank you. I have to eat afterwards, or I'm going to eat later, or I ate before coming. Even if you have not eaten one bit of food that day, and by the time you leave, it's going to be 2 in the morning, and everything will be closed, and you are not cooking at 2 in the morning, you will sooner starve than take a single bite of that food there. But that's not for like any poisoning fear. Just based off media I've consumed, I know the easiest time to get someone got is drop a little something. Drizzle it like Salt Bay straight into their drink. When you whipping up the batter for that cornbread, drop a little bit of something in there. Make them go night-night. When you frying up that turkey, when you put that bad boy in the oven, or put it over the fire, get a nice little roast going. Inject it with chloroform. No, but like there, it is the time to get got. So I understand why both Donnie and Anne immediately leap to like, this is dangerous. Though we do get to see that the goat decides to stick his finger in the line. But I think this is specifically Gother testing it for anything, which once again is kind of an evolution of his abilities. I know he can like analyze things, but typically he could like pick up books, or he'd have to like insert a light beam into something to get its full properties, anything like that. I don't think we've ever seen him break down the chemical composition of something, but he sticks his finger in and then immediately goes to Donnie and says, nice acidity, full-bodied, very good juice. And Donnie is like, it is. And Donnie, you're too young. Actually, hold on. I was about to say, Donnie, you're too young. You shouldn't be thinking about that. But what? I mean, considering this is medieval times, this will be super, super forward dated. But what is the legal consumption age in England? Or Britannia? 18. Oh, wait, never mind. Donnie, get a drink. No, but you can see that's all it took for Donnie's guard to drop. And we see Big Papa Pal. He switched into some more casual gear. And we see Pellegarde say, if you like it, then have all you like. Oh, I didn't realize that. But, oh, speaking of what I didn't realize that in the live reaction, which is 30 minutes long, gosh darn it, which you can check it over on Patreon for as low as $1 a month, or become a member for as low as $3 a month to check out the live reaction for this very chapter. And I can tell you, you may want to check out that live reaction. But with that being the case, Pellegarde comes in, knocking the door open, and he's like, have all you like. And we see Anne lock in. She like, that's the look of somebody who's about to show that they have it on them, and they keep it on them at all times. And I recognize that look. But immediately, like any good Samaritan, Anne is like, oh, sorry, I don't actually have it on me, and keep it on me at all times, I swear. Because Pellegarde does not walk in alone. He walks in with the fam. And he says, ah, yes. Let me introduce my family. Go on now. Say hello. My boy, Pellegarde. Late. He was a plumber. Better than Mario ever was. Because which one of these two has kids? But with that being the case, I do like you can tell the kid is much more a carbon copy of the mom just based on like the hair color, the hairstyle, the only things, and actually I'll admit there are 2 things that Pellegarde seemed, actually no, three. You know what, this is actually pretty solid. In terms of the external framing appearance, like the framing of the hair and the hair color, that's the mom. That's the mom. This kid right here is just like me for real. Carbon copy of his mom. I am literally her, just male. But in terms of the eye shape, I'd say he got the shape of the pupils / the irises from his mother, but the general shape of the eyeball, like the whole container for it, that sounds so weird calling it a container, but the shape from his daddy, the nose from his daddy, and the eyebrow thickness from his daddy. So that's very clearly their son. I like that. And once again, I think it's a nice continuation of Pellegarde's family line. And we see that Pellegarde introduces them. See? These 2 right here, they're going to make Pellegarde my favorite character, period. But with that being the case, we see that the woman introduces herself. Pellegarde's wife introduces herself. My name is Fiona. I hear you're holy knights, like my husband. Oh, and this is Richard, our son. Hi! If you think I'm going to say Richard's real name, no, I'm not. You can take a guess. Of course, I mutilate every single chapter I review when I upload it. So if you didn't read the chapter yourself, you may not know what Richard's real name is. In that case, go read the chapter. Because I'm not saying that his real name. But you should know. If I'm calling him Richard, you should know. Trust me, I didn't randomly rename this kid myself. But we see that Anne, once again being cordial, because there are innocent civilians around, and, kids and unarmed warriors. Well, not unarmed warriors, just unarmed innocents, really. She goes, yes, hello. And Donnie, shocked that Pellegarde isn't just a Chad blazing black knight, but he also lays that Chad blazing black pipe, goes, oh, hey. Okay, Pellegarde, I see what it be like when it be like. Get your dang then. But we see that Pellegarde. One go to another. He can respect the hustle, you know what I'm talking about? As he very clearly says, but imagine running into a legendary hero in this world. It's an honor, goat sin of lust. My name is... Oh, you can keep quiet, please. And so, multiple things in this interaction. In fact, I'll complete the whole interaction before actually going to every single thing I like about this little exchange. We see Gother, not about the games, raises his one remaining good hand, fires off a beam. And we see the beam... I don't have a cup. The beam straight into the drink cup. It pierces. It pierces. And then Pellegarde says, are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? What? That genuinely, I don't know why. That genuinely gave me John Cena flashbacks. But with that being the case, we see Pellegarde immediately get praise as Gother goes, not bad. Okay then, go ahead. And Pellegarde finishes the introduction. I am Pellegarde of the Four Evils, the Black Knight in King Arthur's service. So everything I like about this interaction. Number one, I like that Pellegarde gives his respect, right? Like, don't get me wrong, Gother is definitely worse for wear, to put it very, very lightly. The man's in pieces. Quite literally. Threes. One leg here, one arm there, the rest of the man can't even walk anymore. But what does Pellegarde do? Simply upon recognizing the essence, the whiff, the sight, the presence of the goat, he's like, wow, you like that for real, DeBucko, even if you can't walk on your own. I never expect you to roll around my parts. I like that. It does multiple things. It shows that Pellegarde does have respect for the Seven Deadly Sins, their title, their history, their power, their notoriety, but also he's laying the groundwork down nice and clear in this world. AKA, he's telling you, you really ain't supposed to be here right now. And I think you know that. I like that. And I like how Gother, once again, kind of like low-key, maybe I'm just interpreting this weird, kind of in a show of arrogance, is like, you are random, bucko. Beltripe is the one of you that's exceptionally strong. Hold this beam real quick. This could tag the Supreme Deity if it wanted to. And we see that Pellegarde's like, if it wanted to, for real, huh? And just no-sells it. With nothing but emotion. Now, of course, maybe Gother was for some reason holding back on this light beam, but like, there ain't no reason. This is kind of crazy. Like, if you think, now I know there are definitely contentions about it, and I'm fine with it. If you think this beam can do anything, if it moves at any sort of speed, remember, these things, like, tagged the Demon King. Really, well, the Demon King wasn't paying attention, but still, they tagged the Demon King. These things are pretty speedy. The fact that Pellegarde reacts to an attack so casually from one of the legendary Seven Deadly Sins and just... It's very, very impressive. And you can even see that Gother puts respect on it. Gother's like, oh, okay. All right. I see we have a monster and a beast over here. You got it. For real. Pop off. I do love that whole interaction. It goes to show that neither of these characters are necessarily inferior to each other in terms of status or understanding or raw power, and thusly, neither of them will victimize each other. Half on the basis of respect, and the other half basis on the fact that they literally can't. Beautiful stuff. Like, nah. And of course, we see that Pellegarde goes, now, what brings all you here today? If you'd like to tell me, I'm all ears. So once again, Pellegarde, he's invited them into his home. He's laid dinner out for him, smacked it on the table for him, done all this good, nice, scrumptious stuff. But no, he hasn't forced anything out of them. They are currently in his territory. I'm not sure how communication works between the realms, but like, if I didn't just have, like, admittedly, Beltripe kind of fumbled. He should have aimed straight for the head. If I just have not just two of the remaining members of the Percival platoon, where Nasians has already seemingly been captured and sent to the coffin of Anfuin, the cauldron of Anfuin, meaning bro's already getting re-educated. You're telling me I got two of the other threats to Camelot and one of the legendary 7 deadly sins? Literally falling on my front doorstep? Bring! I will invent a phone right then and there. But by Pellegarde offering, showing them, hey, you mind telling me these things? Just let me know. Let me know what you're doing here. And we can have a talk about it. It goes to show that Pellegarde just built slightly bit different. If this was Ironside, they'd be cooked. If it was Beltripe, they'd be cooked. If it was the last night, they'd be cooked. But nah, very specifically with Big Papa Pell, he's like, we can just talk. We can have a civilized discussion like a bunch of adults. So come on now, adults. Let's have a discussion. And I like that. I really, really do. It goes to show that Pellegarde, he's logical. He's logical, and he's also not fully on board for what he's been ordered to do. And of course, we see Anne ask, is that a question? Or is it meant as an order? And considering what Pellegarde could very clearly do to all of them based on the fact that he basically no-diffs. Well, not no-diffs. Like, Gother fired one beam. Who knows what Gother could get up to. But he's currently missing an arm and a leg. And I'm pretty sure you kind of need those. So the fact that Pellegarde, while casual, was able to easily block Gother's attack, and he most likely has the fastest attack out of anybody here? Yeah. It's pretty likely that Pellegarde could wash all of them if he really felt like it. So I get why Anne immediately asks, is that in question? Or is it meant as an order? Because it could very easily be made in order. Like, you will tell me everything now, and maybe I spare you. Keyword is maybe. But with that being the case, Pellegarde is the GOAT. And he says, whew, boy, I'm getting a little bit too old for this nonsense. Anyway, you listen here, youngins. How about we do it like that? I don't know where that kind of voice came from Pellegarde. But how about we do it like this, then? Once again, Knockup is amazing at stuffing little details into panels that just take a nice little reread. Look at Tunny just tearing apart this duck, chicken, bird of some kind. Bro is literally grabbing it by both of his little ankles and just... But we see Pellegarde offers, how about we do it like this, then? We'll take turns asking and answering the questions. We're all free to lie, of course. Now, as for me, I'm going to be completely open and honest with you. You've got a specialist in controlling people's minds, the GOAT, and by this point, Anne, you're well known in Camelot for your magical prowess. Yes, sir! Oh, yeah. Oh, you talk that talk, Pellegarde. Oh, yeah, talk that talk. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking. That's what I like to hear. Talk that talk. And that's my girl. That's my girl right there. That's my beloved daughter right there. She has been such an op and a menace throughout all of Camelot that people just know. It is common knowledge. It's reached the 4 evils that, hey, the white hair. And remember, they have not placed bounties yet. There's no easy access information system. And like, of course, when the 7 deadly sins were fugitives, it's not like they have like their magic listed or their power level or anything like that. No, but like, they don't even know what this woman looks like. But her word and her ability with her abilities, it has spread so far that people are like, do not lie and answer all of her questions or else she will neg you. Good stuff. It goes to show that they have been wreaking havoc if it's spread this far across, once again, separate pocket spaces in a greater Camelot dimension. Very, very impressive for Anne. Shouts to her. But we see, as Pellegarde gets the munchkin, Fiona naturally asks, oh, well, I don't want to be used as a hostage, so should we perhaps leave you alone, dear? And we see that Pellegarde happily says, oh, of course. Could you bring a few more bottles of that good juice in? And we see that Fiona naturally goes, all right, enjoy your dinner then. Let's go, Mom! Okay, okay. And they both walk off. We see Anne, she's flat-faced, and Pellegarde, he's smiling, but notably, the smile seems a little bit forced. Look at that face. And Anne immediately asks, or it's just not even asks, declares, if that's your offer, then I'll go first. Tell me what's going on with all the strange things happening in Camelot. Like, why are people who were once gone now alive and well in this world? Hey, whoa, watch what you're talking about. Should we even call them the same person? We saw a report that in the moment, the instant, the second, a reborn person is taken back to Britannia, they simply disappear like they were wholly made of smoke. Smoke! And I'm not talking about the ones that would come from a freshly made and freshly rolled pig of Pellegarde. So what's going on here? So, that's one of the strange things happening in Camelot. And then Pellegarde gives an answer. So, this does hard confirm. Sums up. Well, you know what? This chapter does a whole bunch of explaining, so I won't even play the mind games with y'all. We see that Pellegarde immediately answers. He's like, now, the question is, and the answer is, I do know, so I don't get crushed into the ground, since you in particular asked it, Anne. Alright. My answer is that they are neither the real thing, nor a mere mirage. Call it an illusion based on reality, perhaps. Camelot holds the power to manifest people's strongest wishes. It uses the land taken from Britannia to create an environment where you can live with your lost child, just as they existed. More extreme wishes, such as to destroy or save the world, aren't possible, because they're simply too large and vaguely defined. However, things created here in Camelot can retain their form forever, never withering away. As you say, though, if they set foot outside of Camelot, there's no saving them. That's how it works. So, this opens some doors, it closes some doors, and knocks on the dome. It makes the boy look chrome, because we got things here. So, if you remember, what feels like forever ago now, like it may have been over a year and a half, maybe more probably at this point, because we're on 135. I think we've hit publication for nearly 3 years when we're recording. Yeah, maybe even 3 whole years since publication began. I think maybe a year and a half ago, if not maybe 2 years ago at this point. Remember, Merlin was confirmed, or at least the Merlin that we saw with Arthur was confirmed to not be Merlin. Simply not. It was very specifically a fairy transformed to look like Merlin. Notably, it did not sound like Merlin, it did not speak like Merlin, it probably didn't have any of the abilities of Merlin, but it just looked like Merlin. And, of course, when Guinevere opens her mouth and starts yappa-dabba-dabbing, stay hydrated, folks. But when Guinevere opens her mouth and starts yappa-dabba-dabbing about the nature of the fairy Merlin, Arthur annihilates it. And he makes a very specific statement. You know, the thing about illusions is that they're intangible. You can't touch them. They aren't warm to the touch. They have no feel to them. But this essentially hard deruled the fact that the sister, that Deodra, that anybody who could be tangibly interacted with, whose toes could be tickled, if you will, it essentially rendered them immune from actually being illusions, making them all fundamentally real. Until this. So, Pellegarde explains that essentially, they're kind of clones born of the memory of those who loved them and lost them. Meaning that legally speaking, they aren't real. Like they flat out, they are simply not real. They are not canon. In the grand scheme of things, these clones, these copies, they are not canon. They are essentially farces, facsimiles, based on the memories and hopes and dreams of those left behind. And you may be wondering, okay, yeah, Pencil Man, I see all that, but what's the big question? What door does this open? None. Really none. Well, actually, it opens doors, just not the kind of doors you would immediately think of. Door number 1, Jade. Now here's the thing. I know people are gonna be like, really, Pencil? Jade's been cooked for like a year of serialization. And to that I say, you are nearly correct. I think you may actually just flat out be correct. How far ago was Walnut? Jade perished like at 99? It may have been a year. We've had breaks. We haven't had a chunk of breaks. So it may have been a whole year since Jade got. But still, Jade could come back in Camelot if the people who lost him wished for certain things. Certain characters like Speed could come back in Camelot if people wish for them. Certain numerous characters could respawn in Camelot if they were so wished for by the people inside Camelot. Ain't that crazy? That's the door that's open. Notably, the door I tried to. You can even see me doing a live reaction over on Patreon for as little as $1 a month, or you can become a member for as little as $3 a month to check out the 30-minute live reaction. You can see me try to pry. Like I put the grippers on it. I put the grippers on the door. I can't make hand shapes. I just realized how. I put the flat grippers on the door. See, I can't, whatever. You know what it looks like. And if you don't, good. But, like, I put my grippers on the door, and I tried to yank the Deodra door open, but the Deodra door slammed shut, mainly because Deodra ages. That's the one thing. The babies, or the recreations, these illusions that are no mirage, yet not illusion, that are real, yet not real, yeah, they don't age. That's what Pellegarde says. However, things created here in Camelot can retain their form forever, never withering away. So, with that being the case, with Deodra aging as he did, yeah, it's very, very likely that bro kinda just is real, which is fine. It's fine, especially considering Percy isn't actually Ironside or Varghese' kid. Like, he isn't actually Varghese' grandson, nor Ironside's actual biological son, in the case of Percy, so I guess it doesn't really matter. And the only connection that he would have is to Ironside, right? So, yeah, there's no real other connections that you could wend or build, because Mortlock's cooked. I guess, like, the servants, Deodra would always be loyal to Ironside. So, there's that in comparison and contrast to Percy. But there are interesting ideas brought up here. Interesting ideas that we can dive into with the nature of these illusions. It's just character arcs. Everything's a character arc. And I'm excited to see that. But, of course, naturally with this plot point, it means that any characters or character arcs or anything that tries to escape Camelot after Camelot is destroyed, they go right along with Camelot. So it's looking dangerous. But, of course, the exposition does not stop there. Well, actually, it kind of does for a little bit. As the brother says, forget, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I'm rage quitting. I can't do this. Oh no, the existential crisis. Oh no, the crisis. Oh no, the crisis. Oh, sweet mother of mercy, the crisis. I can feel it in my bones, the crisis. And of course, Donnie's like, dude, we're kind of currently getting a plot dump right now. We can't have you leaving in the middle of it. But we see that the older brother's like, I'm sorry. Excuse us. I suddenly feel sick to my stomach. Come on, let's go. So, this is the brother realizing that essentially... Oh wait, did I glaze over something completely? Yeah, I did. I glazed over something completely. Let's go back. Arthur, why are you so Okay, now you may be wondering, Pencilman. What do you mean Arthur's trash? Read Pellegarde's statement here. It uses the land taken from Britannia to create an environment where you can live with your lost child. Or in the case of the woman we saw for that short chapter, lost husband, or anyone who's lost. More extreme wishes, such as destroy the world, blah, 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 are impossible. However, things created in Camelot retain their form, withering away. Symphony, there's something. Essentially, Arthur needs to take land from Britannia to create land for people to live on? Why? And what is this whole mess of wishing energy? In the sense, like, this is on some My Hero type beat. But, like, why? Like, in terms of that, Arthur, why are you so garbage that you can't just make your own realm? Like, if your kids could do it, and by kids I mean the Supreme Deity, the Demon King, and the Fairy Tree, because, Arthur is chaos right now. Or at least infused with chaos. Why not just do it yourself? Like, why not? Like, you can still get people to come over freely. Like, just give them their own pocket. Like, what part of Britannia did you steal for this? For this whole area? Did you just make that up yourself? Why not just make everything up yourself? That's a little bit weird. I'm very interested to see what Chaos's, I hate to say, but I guess like new limitations are. Like, this is stuff lower than the deities that they birthed. So I'm interested to see how that works. But we'll get back to the land and the land thievy bit and Arthur sucking soon enough. And I ain't talking about sucking what you think he should be sucking. But with that being the case, we see that the big brother and little sister wander off. And we see that naturally Anne is like, great, we just gave him an existential crisis live on air. We are not good at this hero thing. But we see that as Anne's silent, Pellegarde actually asks, hey, are those two with you as well? And we see that Anne casually answers, no, he just wanted to bring back his sister to Britannia from here. Because even he knew this world was a little bit sussy baka. And we see Pellegarde's like, okay. And you're lending a hand, huh? You know, more people you bring out of the world. Now this is where it gets interesting with the land thing. You know, the more people you bring out of this world like that, the smaller our source for wishes, the more land we lose, and the worse King Arthur's mood gets. So, Arthur, why? Why, Arthur? Why must you do this? Why must you seem so fraudulent? Okay. How can I put this in a way that's completely tangible and understandable? Okay, so essentially, what this is telling me is that Arthur is so incompetent, despite holding the most powerful creature in the entire duology in his belly button, that bro cannot create sufficient worlds without stealing from Britannia. That's it. That's it. He's literally unable, incapable. It is crazy to think that Arthur, the king of chaos, the vessel to chaos itself, is reliant on people bringing the world into existence and land being, I guess in kind of a way, bought, but like, I'd say forcefully annexed is more appropriate. But land forcefully annexed from the original world, if Arthur doesn't get enough rent being paid, it will immediately be sold back to its original proprietor, which is Britannia. Why can't you either A, steal the whole thing at once, or B, make your own? Like, don't get me wrong. I do not understand the magical, scientific, and complex complexities of giving birth to an entire world. I cannot imagine that. But even still, Arthur, do better. Like, I hate to, but just do better, bro. Just lock in. Come on, Arthur, just lock in. Just get. But like, I'm trying to think. Like, what's a logical reason why he can't do it? Like, this is me genuinely trying to, like, Jimmy Neutron brain blast and think of a reason why Arthur needs to rely on the people and their wishing energy to maintain the land instead of just doing it himself. You know, the easy way he could do it, instead of just doing it himself, he's very simply relying on wishing energy, on the people that come with the land, and if he doesn't rely on that, things will revert back to the way that. Why is it? It literally, like, here's the thing. I'm trying to, let me see if I can. Hold on, it's coming to me. Hold on. I can't think of anything. Arthur must just not have full control of chaos. Because there's no excuse. There's no, like, if the end of the original series is to be taken at face value, the Demon King, who's weaker than chaos, the Supreme Deity, who's weaker than chaos, and especially the Great Fairy Tree, who's most certainly and indubitably weaker than chaos, they all made realms just fine. None of these realms have been noticed or like put on the hit list for destabilization or anything like that. So I don't know why Arthur's so reliant on taking people and places from the real world and is unable to keep them where they are. Maybe chaos is just unhappy with Arthur undoing its own work and is like, undo. And like, you need to keep humans there to kind of distract chaos in order for it to let it happen. I don't know, man. That seems so weird that Arthur is so... I hate to call him weak, but kind of weak in the sense that he cannot maintain control over, admittedly not simple processes, but like not overly complicated processes for someone who holds the power of the verse in their fingertips. Like the creator of the verse, not even the power of the verse, the creator. I don't know. But we see that Anne just... That actually hurt a little bit. That hurt my hands and my thigh. But like Anne legit goes, "It's King Arthur who's the cause of all this. You have no right to criticize us." And we see as Anne is and sweating buckets, Pellegarde's like, "I mean, I'll be real with you. I'm not criticizing you at all. In fact, it's perfectly valid for you to feel that way. Honestly, I haven't understood my king's thoughts for 10 years now." Here we go. Not one, not two, not three, not four. 10 years. Now you may be wondering, pencil man. You be freaking and geeking over literally everything. What's so important about 10 years? We don't know. That's the thing that's important. Notably, a lot of mysteries or things or ideas in Four Knights can kind of be circumvented or at least somewhat avoided if you know the original series and if you've been following release materials from the original series. Things like the movies, things like some data books, things like some guidebooks. Heck, some things Nagaba just releases at complete random, and like volume extras. Like there are definitely things in Four Knights that have been hinted in at Original Sin Deadly Sins, even early Four Knights, where if you notice them, they aren't all too surprising when they happen. But 10 years is a very specific time period, at least if I'm doing my mathematicals right. So feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But currently we are in an 18-year time skip from the point of the end of the Demon King fight. We're at 17.8 months, I believe, with this... what's the mathematics on that one? 17 months and 6 days from Cursed by Light. That takes place, and then remember, the end of the series actually takes place after a 10-year time skip, which is only 8 years ago from our current perspective. When Tristan is 10, Pellegarde is referring to a date that took place 2 years before that, where Arthur fundamentally changed. What was that event? We have nothing that lines up to it. Not Grudge of Edinburgh, not Cursed by Light, not what happened 2 years ago that really... What happened 10 years ago? I don't know. Something has to have happened to Arthur. And I really am excited to learn what it is. Because you know Nakaba, he's itching and scratching and tells us that we're itching and scratching to know. And we see that Donnie, who's still currently just is shocked. And Anne is just generally shocked. And Gotha's like, I'm sorry. Am I supposed to care? No, like, notably, Gother just has the most blasé reaction ever. And the reason I find it so funny is because of their reactions. Like, they're genuinely shocked at that information. Because they're like, whoa, Pellegarde, you actually don't have proper allegiance to Arthur and stuff like that. Meanwhile, Gother's just like, okay, and? I don't care. Run it back. Like, I do love that. I do love that moment right there. And we do get to see that Pellegarde naturally says, all right, it's my turn. But then Gother's like, No, Gother goes, nuh-uh. And Pellegarde goes, what you mean, nuh-uh? As he says, what? I haven't gone yet. And then we see Gother immediately, as my boy playing semantics. Gother's like, are those two with you as well? That was your question. That's your game, huh? Well, excellent. Throw another question at me then. That turned more into Escanor than into Pellegarde. But we see, and Gother starts to ask the question until, seemingly enough, Gother cuts himself off here, but I think there's just like a bubble translation thing. Where Anne presumably goes, wait, Gother, can you let me ask instead? And then Gother immediately realizes, oh, look at the kids taking leadership. And of course, very well. We'll gain a much more reliable answer that way. Because of course, Pellegarde would still be a victim to Anne's magic, so he can't really lie here, as he knows when he made this gambit. But we see Pellegarde is like, oh, whatever, these little tricksters, these beguilers, and these deceivers. Anne drops the bomb. La bomba, the question. Let me hit y'all with it for the one time. I made for the two time. I made for the three time. Pellegarde, are you our enemy or our ally? Because I sense no hostility, no slaughtering intent from you at all. Pellegarde is not an op, at least not a direct one, in the sense that he's not actively trying to off them and is welcoming them into his home and is currently feeding them dinner. But Pellegarde admits, oh, y'all asking the good ones now. Well, I see. Well then, how about I answer you like this? I am your ally, yes, but I'm also your enemy. Kind of I'm not even going to say the enemy of my enemy is my friend thing, because they are his enemies, right? Like, but you ever had that op that, like, you are only ops because you agree on something or disagree on something fundamentally? That, like, if you were to see each other in passing, you would not be ops? I know that seems so oddly specific. And not even, like, in a fighting sense, but, like, in anything in life. Where, like, you just have that one person who you wouldn't really call them a friend, but you wouldn't really call them an enemy either. Essentially, that's Pellegarde. Like, he's there. He'll break bread with you. But at the same time, he'll break you. If given the opportunity, if you get in the way of breaking their own bread. Like, I don't know. It's a weird analogy to describe what Pellegarde is. But I wouldn't say it's the enemy of my enemy is my friend thing. I wouldn't say that. At least under my own interpretation of Pellegarde, I don't see that vision. But, of course, he doesn't fall here, and he sends up this playful answer. But Anne and Donnie look, and Donnie naturally asks, Percival said it too, didn't he? He said you weren't a bad guy. But if not, why are you so duty-bound to King Arthur? A naturally good question, considering he's willing to help them, he's been kind to them, he's not actively attacking them, he's welcoming them into their home. Sure, you're an enemy in the sense that you work for Camelot, but, like, why aren't you just verbatim our ally? Why do you listen to Arthur so much? And besides the obvious answer of Arthur would massacre him if he ever betrayed, also, Pellegarde he looks to his beloved wife and son as they hear laughter from a child. And Pellegarde reveals, man, at the age of 4, my son Richard died after falling off a horse. If he was alive, he'd be about as old as you now. So, remember, 14 years have passed since Richard got by falling off that horse. Fiona and Pellegarde have been living with an illusion, a mirage that is not yet a mirage, for 14 years. Because remember, our whole cast and crew is 18 now. 14 years. And we see Donnie naturally ask, oh, so you serve King Arthur to keep your son safe then? Not safe, existing. As Pellegarde says, no, not that. I'm too goated for that. For you see, I fully accepted the loss of my son. What you simply see is an illusion created by Camelot. His real soul is safely resting in heaven, I'm sure. That's another... I'm sorry, it's like a sucker punch every time it happens. Heaven keeps getting name dropped. Is it just the capital of the dead? I'm going to go through, like, the Q&As for the original series and Four Knights. I'm going to see if Nakaba ever, like, name drops Heaven. Because, like, there are only two places I could think of, and it's the capital of the dead and the celestial realm. But the thing is, why do these people even believe in a heaven when they know there's reincarnation? Like, reincarnation is a thing that genuinely happens. To the point where a whole subspecies kind of has some sort of... Well, no, realistically, two species have direct interaction with reincarnation. The demons can remove you from the cycle of reincarnation by consuming your soul, essentially permanently deleting you. And the Goddess Clan, admittedly on a lower scale, well, actually, no, they can also erase you from the cycle of reincarnation by literally erasing you with Arc. And also, Mael's shown the ability to manipulate reincarnation to a point where the previous lives' memories are maintained. So, I don't know. Seems interesting. Seems very, very interesting that they keep name dropping heaven. Because what's this point here? If it's not just the capital of the dead. If it's just the capital of the dead, then that's fine. But we see, and Pellegarde admits, I'll be real with you. I've dreamed it many, many times, of course. Riding with my grown son, teaching him my blade skills, sharing a drink. Just those silly acts and silly kinds of things. But we see that Anne actually asks, but if you're over it, which is... Now, notably, I do not have kids. I don't. I simply do not. Do I want kids? Yes. I'd love a whole little army of mini pencils running around. I think they'd be so neat just to have a little a little gaggle of fools. I hope they don't end up inheriting too much from their father, because their father's nuts. But like, I hope one day to be blessed enough to have kids of my own. And even still, Anne. That's a little insensitive, dog. Like, she's like, but if you're not over it, like, Anne, he lost his son. Like, presuming your assumption is correct, Anne, that's still his child. I know you don't have one either, but like, even if you can't empathize, you should be able to sympathize. But we see that she naturally asks, but if you're that over it, then who even wants your son to be there? And even then, who? That is such a crazy statement. Like, I get it, and don't get me wrong, I fully understand the emotional context and why Anne's saying it like this and all that. But it's still crazy to me that she's like, who even wants your son to be alive or manifest it as an illusion? Who wants it? And of course, it's a natural answer. Pellegarde straight up says, "Really, Anne? I know you're smarter than this. Who else could it be? It's Fiona." And we see, "My wife wished she could spend an eternity with our son. He truly means everything to her. An irreplaceable future. I know well enough that this world's a big mistake. But do you want me to take him away from my wife? I just can't do that." Oh! Oh! Nakama! Just put it straight into my heart, bro. Why do you have to make Pellegarde? This is it. This is why he's my favorite. This is why he's my favorite now. Because it goes to show that Pellegarde doesn't agree with Arthur. Doesn't agree with his mentality. Hasn't agreed for the better part of a decade, as he says. Legitimately, for 10 years now. He doesn't care nor agree with it. But he himself is such a good man and loves his wife so much that even though he knows he's fighting for the wrong side, even though he understands the dangers of maintaining this world, even though he understands that his king is probably barely even his king anymore, in the sense that he has made fundamentally different decisions than the man he signed up to work for, who knows how many years ago, he loves his wife to the point where he's not willing to wake her up from that dream. Or really, in a sense, an endless nightmare. A nightmare of stagnation. A nightmare of a lack of progression. Instead of moving on, Fiona has been locked in the past. But here's the thing, I can't even blame Fiona for that. In the sense that I will never give birth. Not personally. As far as I know, can't do that. And I'm happy I can't. Because from what I've heard, from either first party sources or third party or any source, the connection that a person builds when they carry a child for 9 months, give birth to them and care for them, it is irreplaceable. It is legit impossible to overcome. So Fiona, when given the opportunity to stay with her son, even if, because I think she knows, in her heart of hearts, she knows her son isn't real. The kid hasn't aged in 14 years. 14, like, he hasn't aged, he presumably hasn't changed at all, he hasn't developed as a person, because he's a hope, he's a manifestation of a false reality, born of her wishes. She doesn't know what he would have been at age 5, not to talk of age 18. Of course he hasn't changed. But that despair has consumed her so deeply because of a natural connection that mothers do build with their children, or people who give birth build with their children. Of course she wouldn't want to let him go. And of course, I love Pellegarde so much to the point where he's probably my favorite character now. Because he's not invalidating his wife's feelings. He loves her so much he's willing to let her live this lie. And in a way, don't get me wrong, I can definitely see how that is twisted. Like, not waking her up from this illusory dream. And is, in a way, a torture in of itself, right? Like, it just is. In the sense that she's living a lie, and has been living a lie for the past 14 years. And if I had to take a guess, if the brother is any indication, she's aging. She's going to leave her son behind. The same son she lost 14 going on who knows how many years later. It is a haunting thing. I hate it's gonna sound rough, and of course this is that guy with the pencil. I'm a funny meme manga reviewer guy, but you got to be able to move on from loss. So in a way, well, this is an amazing show of Pellegarde as a character, as a loving father, as a loving husband. This is a character flaw, in a sense that he's letting his wife live a lie and risking the destruction of the entire world and who knows what beyond it because his wife refuses to move on. And the complexity and the terror and the existentialism that comes with that, man, it makes Pellegarde goated. You can even see this hits. This hits for Donnie and Anne both. Go through once again is like, I mean, whatever. I moved on from Nausea like 16 years ago. 18 now. Get on my level. Scrub. Like, with that being the case, it hits. It hits. I understand. I understand why Pellegarde's like that. Like, once again, I have not met my wife yet, as far as I know. I don't know, maybe I have. But, like, I haven't met my wife yet. But just based on how I was raised and my own thought processes, I don't think I do anything different than Pellegarde. Even if I knew it was wrong. Like, this is the thing. I think Pellegarde's fully cognizant of the fact that it's wrong. He knows that this is a mistake. He knows. He admits it himself. But, for my wife, yeah, I'd probably make the same mistake 1,000 times over. Probably. But, of course, we see someone else who's made a mistake. As we cut to the brother and the sister, and the baby sister, the illusion, the lie, the dream, asks, "Big bro, why aren't you saying anything? Does your stomach hurt?" take all the serious stuff. Does your tummy hurt? But the brother says, "No, it's fine. It's nothing at all." "Oh, so why are you crying?" It's not your fault at all. No, it's mine. It was just so hard to lose you. So sad I couldn't believe it. So when I heard about Camelot, I ignored Mom's pleas and left home. I'm sure Mom wishes I could take you back. I know how happy she would be. Or that's what I decided. But I was wrong. I was the only one obsessing over you. So much so that I left our worried mother all alone for it. Big bro, I'm sorry. I'm sure you're up in heaven right now, smiling at me. So it's time to move on. She left. The illusion, the wish, the lie, gone. He's woken up from that dream. Apparently, shout out to this mama though. She's metal. She never gave into the dream. She didn't even begin to entertain the idea of Camelot. And remember, I think it's been what? I think he said it's been like 12 years that have passed since he's aged. So who knows if his mom's still okay. Especially considering the nature of Britannia and the siege it's been under for a while now. We don't know where they're from. We still do not have a name for either of these characters because they're not that important. But once again, just a little character journey. It's why you hear me slop Nakaba. I know the reason Nakaba doesn't get a whole bunch of praise or anything like that is one because of the poor anime adaptation of Somebody Sense. That will haunt, like, even if Fortnite's got Madhouse, Mappa quality animation, and once again, I haven't actually watched it, but I know it's gotten better animation. But 7 frames will haunt Nakaba and the 7 Sense duology till time immemorial. The universe will collapse before people actually forget about that and move on from it. So, I ain't shocked about that. But another reason why Nakaba is rarely ever credited, at least in terms of like quick character stories, character writing in general, I think it is because he just does a whole bunch of weird stuff. Like explicitly weird stuff. And don't get me wrong, a lot of anime and manga has very, very weird stuff. Even some of the most popular anime and manga have very, very weird stuff. But Nakaba does weird things. But man, the little character story of this guy who doesn't even have a name is great. It's fantastic. It's sweet. And it's wonderful to see him reconcile just with himself now that the truth has set him free. And of course, we have finished his story, so we cut back to the one of our main group. And Pellegarde naturally asks, haven't any of you ever wished for it in your life? The return of a beloved friend, a mother, a father, a brother? That's my question. Will you answer it for me? And Anne drops the bomb. You know it's serious when Nagama suddenly decides to give her lipstick when she hasn't had it in like since her introduction. Of course. Many times, in fact. That's how deep the sense of loss ran for us. But if we did that, it'd be pretty hard for the real him to come back, wouldn't it? And of course, Pellegarde drops the juice. And he's like, wait. And Anne gives him the Chad lights could stare. But she goes on to say, yes, Percival is alive. Okay. Like, I know my reaction's so blasé. And it isn't just for the fact that I did a spoiler discussion. It's for the fact that, like, I knew. Someone even mentioned, I think it's 7 and 7. Like, it's 7 in the original series till Meliodas' body gets reintroduced or until his resurrection. 7 chapters into the time skip that we get the Percival is alive reveal. I'm fine with it because he's not actually back. That's my thing. You can show the body. You can show the body. It's fine that he's alive and he's still aging, stuff like that. And I like the details of that. But not you could have held it off. You could have had us. You could have danced around it a bit longer. Especially since Percival, he's well liked. But I've seen it in my own comment section. I've seen it on common discussion. He's no one's favorite. Heck, he's not even my favorite. Out of the 4 Knights, I love Lance more. I'm sorry. I love you, Percival. You may have been my favorite at one time. You may have dropped off. But who knows? I may have to think about that in general, once again, properly, before I do my ranking video for it. But, like, Percival's nobody's favorite. You have Lance. You have Tristan. Heck, I know a lot of people even like Gawain more than Percival. Because a lot of people find Percival boring. And sometimes stupid. Too stupid for his own good. So, you gotta help him for a little bit longer. But Percival is our main character. So him getting confirmed to still be alive, or at least his body is, good stuff. Percival clearly isn't there, but his body's still alive and aging, meaning there's some lingering life spirit left in there. Good stuff. But yes, the chapter's worthy. Let's explain. Number one, like I said, I do love the character interactions very early on in this chapter. I love what this whole image just says about Pellegarde and his location. I love the interaction. I love the introduction of Pellegarde's family, even if one of them's fake. I love the conflict, yet character interactions between Gowther and Pellegarde and the respect that they mutually develop for each other in this one little interaction. I love Pellegarde willing to show his humanity and willingness to work with them despite being their enemy. I love that Anne plays it serious, and I love how Gowther ends up playing serious back. I love the explanations we get for the way of the world here, and I love the fact that Anne is getting hype within Camelot. I love everything that comes from all the explanations here, from the illusions to the nature of Camelot to the wishing power to all that being established here. And of course, I love the character conflict of Pellegarde and even the character conflict of this poor guy who still doesn't have a name. All this stuff is fantastic. And Percival being alive too, nice little cherry on top. Ironically, it is the thing I care the least about in this chapter, which I know sounds crazy. And nope, it doesn't come out of disregard or like, I hate him, I don't like him. It doesn't come out of any disregard for Percival or anything like that. It's just I don't care. It's just I don't care. And because I knew it was happening. I just like the character work more. I'll care more about Percival when he's actually back. When I'm not just getting teased with his body. Right? Like, Nagama, smack it on the table. Smack it, like, lay it down. Lay down some groundwork or something. Let me actually see him back. I didn't need to see the body. So those are my thoughts. This chapter, an 11 out of 10. In terms of sheer character writing and character journey alone, one of my favorites in the duology. Probably easily top 15 in the duology, just on a sheer character writing level. I say top 15 because there are a lot of really good character writing chapters in the 7 Sense duology. Like I said, he's a demon with the pen. He's a demon with the character writing when he feels like it. He's just weird sometimes. But overall, an amazing chapter. Next level, got my toes curling. So, with that being the case, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, please leave. The death is alive. I know I should probably make it relate to the things I actually cared about in this chapter, not just Percival, but Percival's a cliffhanger. The death is alive in the comment section down below. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to hit that notification bell so you not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do happen to have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 a month. Get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. And also now become a member to the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks include the 30-minute live reaction to this very chapter, along with ad-free variations of all my videos. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members, Connor Plays, Red Wolf 4765, Greyhound, and Akids Void. I'd like to give another thank you to our $5 patrons, Victor, Sean, RNG Master, Midnight Gemlord, Metal Solid Crisis, Kevin, Igneal, and Demix LND. I'd like to give another thank you to our $7 member, Autumn's Morning Lazo. I'd like to give another chunk of thank you to our $10 patrons, Robbie Uchiha, Joaquin, iDemokami, and China Doll 09. I'd like to give a fat, juicy, scrumdiddlyumptious thank you to our wonderful $25 member, Alex Ice Rose. I'd like to give another hefty, defty, trifty, nifty thank you to our $25 patron, Calvin Elder.